The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
Man. So you talk about retirement accounts, and, you take a look at what's going on in your 401k and all. It's up and down and up and down, and right now everything seems to be kind of copacetic, but that's a hell of a roller coaster, and I'm very, very glad to have been a longtime friend and client of Dan White and Dan White and Associates. So it's always good to have, that guaranteed amount of money there. You don't have to worry about it. And by the way, if you are concerned about retirement, and you should be, especially within 10 years of retirement, or maybe you're already retired and you're really not happy with the kind of results you're getting, you can just call Dan, 888-690-8800. 888. Well, you know what, Dan? I don't even call you so much anymore. So now it's 690-8890, right?
8820.
88 what?
8820, Rick. 888-690-8820.
I got it on speed dial here on my phone, so no excuses. I shouldn't even go on the air without knowing the damn number. What's wrong with me, right?
Yep.
I know. 690-8820.
Yep.
Oh, God. That's a heck of a way to start the thing, isn't it? So what is the topic for today?
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned 401ks, and this is something that we deal with on pretty much a very regular basis. People come in, we put together a plan for them, and it involves, transitioning maybe some money, to a little safer bucket to provide some income. And so we want to roll over the 401k. So the first thing we do, we call the 401k provider, and we say, hey, what's the current account balance? If they are still working and they're over 59 and a half, we'll ask them what amount of the plan is available as an age 59 and a half rollover. 90% of the time, the whole thing's going to be available because that's the magic age where the gate swings open. So they'll say, oh, you got $463,000, the entire amount is eligible, 100% is eligible for rollover. How much do you want to roll over? And our next question is always going to be the same. Can we confirm that all the money inside the plan is pre-tax money? Oh, let me check. And if he comes back and says, no, it's not, if he comes back and says there's $1,100 of after-tax money, what I would probably do in that situation, I'd say, all right, we want 2 checks cut. We want the pre-tax money being rolled over to a new custodian, and we'll give them the custodial information. And the $1,100 that's after tax, why don't you send that out to Joe Client? Just there's no taxes due on it. It's after tax money. Just send that out to him in a check, and they will cut 2 checks. Now that's the standard procedure. But if he comes back and says, "Oh, there's $150,000 of after tax money," well, then we're going to still say we want 2 checks, but we want the pre-tax money going to a traditional IRA. And we want the $150,000 of after-tax money going to a Roth IRA, and here's the custodial information for that. So if it's a big amount of money, and it's after-tax money inside the 401k, we want to make sure we can roll that to a Roth and preserve and have it grow tax-free. That's the smartest thing to do. If it's a piddly little amount, we're probably just going to have them send out the check.
How does that happen, pre-tax and after-tax money in a 401k?
Well, maybe sometimes people are, you can put in more than a limit, but you can't just put it in pre-tax. So maybe they're overfunding their 401k. Maybe they clicked the wrong box when they were enrolling. You don't know, you know, why it's in there. But that's a big question we always ask before we do any rollovers is, is it all pre-tax money? Is there any after-tax money in the account? Because obviously you don't want to roll any after-tax money into an IRA because then you're paying tax on it twice. So you want to get it into a Roth, or if it's a small amount, we'll just have it paid out to the client.
Ease my concerns about something here, Dan. So usually when there's a rollover, you have the administrator of one plan. Let's say
Fidelity.
Yeah, Fidelity, whatever. And because you used to work at Bob's broadcast outlet. Now you work at Bubba's broadcast, or whatever it is. And it goes from Fidelity to Schwab, maybe, okay? And it usually goes administrate, and you never see the check. Your name's not even on it except for the custodian saying it's for you, and that's the best way to do it, I always thought. So
it is the best way to do it, but there is a caveat, Rick. So if, for example, we don't have the account open yet, so we want to move it to an IRA, but we don't have an account number, we don't have the account. And when we're doing the rollover, they'll say, well, what's the current account number? Now, sometimes we can use the last four of the social, but sometimes I'll just say, we don't have the account number. Okay, no problem. The check will have to go to the address of record. So they will mail the check to the client, but the way the check will be made out is to Charles Schwab for the benefit of, Rick Jensen.
yeah.
So your name is on there, but it's not made payable to you. It's made payable to Charles Schwab for your benefit. So it's not a taxable event, and you don't owe any tax on the rollover, even though you did receive the check.
I've always had the concern of they're going to send the check to you, and I don't like that. I don't like the idea.
Well, the only only time you run into a problem is if the check is made payable to you.
Oh God, yeah, but I'm worried about the mail service. Like, where's that's my has nothing to do with administrator to administrator or anything else. I've always worried about the mail, because
and the other funny part is, and we tell people this, Fidelity in particular, when they do rollover checks, they send them out in a very nondescript envelope. It looks like junk mail. They don't want anybody to know it's a check. And I always tell people, for the next 3 weeks, go through your mail very carefully. You might be throwing out $500,000 or something. So
if it looks like junk mail.
Make sure you open your mail.
That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember you and I were talking, wasn't that long ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and you were offering a white paper on Social Security. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were sending it out to people, not necessarily clients, just sending it out to people who wanted to know these tips about Social Security and statistics and such like that. Do you still do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a white paper on Social Security facts and figures, yep.
I was wondering, how do folks get a hold of that?
Oh, they can call the office. We're happy to send it out to them. They can, as you said, the number is 888-690-8820.
Yeah.
Or they can go on our website, danwhiteandassociates.com. We're happy to send them out any of our resources.
Really? No, that's a great thing because there's so many complicated details to all of this. It's a good thing to get this information. And even if you're like 10 or 15 years away from retirement, it's important. Start focusing on this. And if you're already retired, well, then obviously you always have great tips for people saving money. So, 888-690-8820. Thanks for squaring that away with me.
No problem.
If you want to get a hold of Dan, do what I do. Just look at his name on your phone and speed dial. Alrighty. Have a great day. Go Phils. I
was down the park last night. They had a nice bounce back win behind Christopher Sanchez. So
you had to love that day, right?
Yeah. It's the first time I saw him live pitch. He's having quite the year.
Who else has your attention?
Well, tonight you got a real nice matchup. You got Zach Wheeler against the Pirates ace, the guy who won the Cy Young last year. So that's a nice matchup, too. And you'll hear it here on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL. Dan White, undying Phillies fan, forever and ever. Go Phils. All right, buddy. Take care. Thanks so much. Thanks, Dan.